Hello once again, this is still Daybreak Africa, Chinfa Studios in the city. I am Ezekiel. Okay, this morning we'll be talking on the presidential tribunal hearing, of course, and the issues of it being live streaming and, of course, up now the results at the end. And we have a guest in the house. Should I say guest at this point? A guest friend. I dare say a family friend.
He's not a co-member of the house.
A co-member of the house, all right? A very good friend of the house personal, Sam Olorufemi. Once again, welcome on Daybreak Africa.
Thank you, Ezekiel and Michael.
A very good morning to you, Mr. Sam. It's just going to be business straightforward this morning.
Exactly.
We have issues of interpretation already on ground. A lot of senior advocates coming out to say, okay, we are still talking about the and a lot of interpretations on the ground. Now, for the judges in the court, the tribunal, we have a lot of sons also present there. They will be interpreting a lot of constitution, a lot of laws, a lot of English and grammars. I want to believe that for everything that is going to happen in the courtroom, most times someone said it's not about the truth, but the person that tells the most convincing story. Now, it's still going to rely and be placed, judged on perception and the way you are able to interpret and maybe possibly convincing the judge. The judge is human, and we believe that whatever you say to possibly is going to go around and possibly bring out what he believes what you have said is the result. So what is your take on this? Are we still going to be able to get justice? Because it's just the problem of description and perception.
Thank you, Mike. The judges, they are humans like us, but they are special beings. They are not ordinary Nigerians like we people. Because judges, especially judges at the appeal court, Supreme Court, you hardly see them in public. You hardly hear them in public. You see no? So they are confined under the law to be separate than with ordinary citizens. Looking at the presidential presidential tribunal, well, let me say this again, that we are still going to Supreme Court after this appeal court, because wherever may be the case, I'm seeing some people that will still go to Supreme Court to challenge the verdict of the appeal. But I think this presidential tribunal will be so easy. Look at the day one. Look at what the chairman of the tribunal, that woman, I can't remember her name now. Look at what she said. Pointedly, she told all the big sons, because now we are parading the big sons in this country. I'm talking about constitutional sons, that they understand the in-depth of what the law says. They can give you multiple interpretations of what the law says. They are the ones we are parading now at this tribunal now. You know, in the first day, she said something and she said the record straight, and I'm quite happy with what she said. She told the lawyers, this tribunal will not entertain any kind of technicalities. He affirmed an authority, because when you look at the case that Atiku is challenging the presidential candidate of APC, who happens to be the president election now, about 5 or 6 charges. I think he's talking about this EU of 25% of FCT. Is this what Atiku is challenging, or even Obi is challenging? Then it talks about that the election was rigged in favor of APC. Then again, Tinubu is talking about the narcotic EU, drug and so on, certificate forgery, money laundering, and so piling up about 5 that Atiku is using now to challenge the victory of Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the February 25th, 2023 presidential election. Now, the chairman of the tribunal now sending the record straight that forget about technicalities, because if care is not taken, technicalities can draw this matter beyond a reasonable time. And technically, we are talking about there is talking about that 25% of the FEC, because today now I still don't know why we have that clause in our constitution. You know, we'll be talking about 25% in the 2/3 and the FCT. And FCT is only a unit in Nigeria that doesn't have a sitting governor. You understand now? And when you look at the administrative system of FCT, it's quite different from the way we practice at the state level. We have just minister of state, they have one senator representing the place, and when you look at the Abuja municipal election, it's being conducted by INEC, not like other states. No, those states now, we have our ODEC and other states. Now, the interesting part of this tribunal is the issue of where will the tide turn at the end of the day. Will it be in favor of APC or PDP or Labour Party? Even though I think we still have APM now, no, I think we've seen about 2 political parties now try to withdraw their petition against APC. It's like we're having 3 political parties now: PDP, Labour Party, and APM. But I want to believe at the end of the day, you still go to center among 3 major political parties: the APC, the Labour Party, and the PDP. And I see the 3 parties now going to the Supreme Court. Now, when you look at what surrounds 2023 presidential election in this country, and when you check the history of presidential election in this country, this is the first election, as you can quote me any year, that the winner of the election will not get up to 10 million votes. This is the first election in this country to tell you how the election was keenly contested. You know, before, in fact, in 2015, I think Buhari got about 30 million votes. In 2019, he got about maybe 13 or 14 million votes. Like that, Jonathan, more than 10 million votes. Yadua, more than 10 million votes. Obasanjo in 2003, more than 10 million votes. In 1999, more than 10 million votes. So this is the first election that is sitting, or the winner of the election will not get up to 10 million votes. But that Tinubu got about 8 million votes. And yet, people are still contesting the election. Talking about the result, uploading on IREF. You know, Obi now is talking about the vote he got in Lagos State. You know, Obi won Lagos State. But Obi is claiming in this petition that the margin of vote he used to lead Bola Tinubu more than 1 million votes. Again, he's talking about Rivers State, that he won the election in Rivers State, not APC. So we have a lot of technicalities as far as this case is concerned. And that's why the chairman of the panel came out in the first day that, no, lawyer, Sam, I know you are coming here with technicalities, but we are not going to entertain such in such a way that we don't want anything that will drag this case beyond
that is exactly where I want to come in from. Of course, we are in the court because we want justice.
Exactly.
And every adequate and necessary levels of what we need to take as a step for us to be able to get this justice is what we should go for. Now, you said the chairperson,
the chairman, yes,
of the sitting,
yes,
said they are not going to look at technicalities.
Yes.
But if technicalities are what we need to look, not considering the time frame, because we said that if we are going to go with technicalities, the time frame might not be enough to keep dragging and dragging. At the end of the day, we want justice to prevail.
Exactly.
Why are we not looking at technicalities? Why are we trying to debunk it and just go straight to something else? If what we have as an evidence to be able to push that what has been given to us as a result is not right, are technicalities, but we want to forgo them and go for something else. What do you think of that?
I'm not here to speak from a law justice, no. But I'm just trying to bring a kind of preamble of what he said. You know, there's a time frame for this tribunal, for them to see less than 180 days, so that they can conclude the matter, and we know whether those that will not go well with the verdict will proceed to Supreme Court, or they will accept their fate and allow the case to die down like that. Now, when you are bringing in a technicality or a kind of techniques that can draw the case beyond reasonable doubt, it can cause a lot of constitutional crisis. You know, like I said, when I listened very well to Kayode Ajulo. Kayode Ajulo is a constitutional lawyer. He's from Ondo State. And when he was interviewed, he made it clear that in 2003 presidential election, the Supreme Court has stated clearly that 25% is not that compulsory for whoever will become the president. This is not my word. This is one of Kayode Ajulo, a constitutional lawyer. That is not that mean for you that not necessary you win 25% in Abuja. Recently, we saw what the former Attorney General of the Federation, I'm talking about Onduaka, when it was a particular TV station, and he made mention of, because this has caused a lot of constitutional crisis in this country. You know, we know very well that Buhari did not, Tinubu did not win 25% in Abuja. It was Obi. Now, if we are going to entertain technicalities, now, are you now saying Obi that won 25% in Abuja, that did not mean the 25% requirement in the whole country should be declared winner?
That means none of them merits.
So that is what I think. I want to believe that is what the chairman of the appeal panel is talking about. Because if you want to base it on winning 25% in Abuja and Tinubu did not win, are you saying that we should call for a rerun election? And if we are calling for a real election, we know what the law says. That when we are calling for a real election, so that's what the chairman of the panel is talking about. Come, I know you guys, you lawyers, you come with your technicalities. But if we are to base it on this, there's going to be a constitutional crisis in this country.
Constitutional crisis. Sorry, Ezekiel, I need to bring this back.
All right.
Constitutional crisis, of course, we don't want that. But the problem there is this. We don't want the rerun or whatever it is, but we want justice to prevail.
Exactly.
We want everything to come out plain. We don't want anybody to say, okay, this is what I think or this is what I don't think.
Exactly.
But why can't we do it the way it's supposed to be? Or is there a court or a place in the law? You said there a senior advocate or former Attorney General said
yes,
25% is not really important. What is it not doing in the Constitution when it's not that important?
That is why I'm saying that those that drafted the law, we don't know their objectives. We don't know what they were envisaging when they put that in our Constitution. Now, if you are saying that we want to entertain technicalities, that Tinubu did not win 25% in Abuja, that Obi won 25% in Abuja, we not say that we should use that one to call for a rerun. Will that be in line with the law? Can we stand on that to call for a rerun when we know what the law says, when we are calling for a rerun election? So it is not enshrined in our law, whether Constitution or Electoral Act, that when you don't mean 25% in Abuja, that we should call for a rerun. So I think that's what the chairman of that panel is trying to avoid, so that we will not find ourselves in the kind of quagmire that we don't expect.
The tweets of contestant that came out with very large margin of results, none of them really merits what we have if you have to look at technicalities.
Yes.
And if things are not in the way they are supposed to be,
yes,
Constitution also guide everything.
Yes.
But now none of them merit it from what we can see.
Which brings me to my question at this point.
Okay.
In a situation where persons believe none of them actually are on the merit of being the next president. Now, do you think the issue of making Bola Ahmed Tinubu president-elect is actually, in your term, constitutional?
I'm not a lawyer, but it is. I'm a political analyst. It is. And now, see, even INEC has come out to clear air on this issue of Abuja 25% FCT, whether you like it. Don't forget that INEC is not an institution that's only responsible for conducting the election and so on and so forth. They also have lawyers. In fact, Professor Sokoye, who happens to be the INEC National Commissioner of Information and Voter, is also a senior lawyer. So he understands, he knows what the law is talking about. After the election, INEC came out to tell you that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the winner of the February 2023 presidential election, meet the requirement. That there's nothing, that law is, there's no ambiguity in our law. It's just because of the interpretation. And that's where lawyers now will come and baboon us with all of interpretation. INEC has come out to tell you that he met the requirement. That was why he was declared the winner of the election. Now, if you are talking about that, it did not meet 25% requirement in Abuja, I would say that we should step him down not to become the president. Now, what will form the basis now of calling for a rerun election? See, this election again has been an eye-opener. See, every day we learn, every day we amend our laws. Every election cycles give us opportunity to look back to our law and to see the loophole in the Constitution and see where we'll be able to amend the law. And that is why our Constitution is flexible, not rigid. Flexibility is in the sense that if anything should happen, we can run back to the law and amend the Constitution. And I think now this will give us avenue now to go back to that particular system in the law, whether we should amend the place or not amend the place. Article 125% in Abuja in 2019 presidential election. Go and Google it. Did INEC declare him winner of the election? No. So to me again, I'm saying the reason why that place being drafted, that whoever want to become the president of Nigeria, at least you win to 25% in 2/3 of the country and the FCT. So I don't know the rationale behind drafting that, but if you are to drag this in the law court, it will cause a constitutional crisis in such a way that it can even plug the presidential election tribunal. Not to reach a conclusion.
We are almost heading to that point where we're having constitutional crisis, because, like he said rightly before, from the onset, he said we have so many SARS actually interpreting it differently.
Exactly.
It's more of a crisis.
No, it has become a crisis because you see a particular lawyer, it will give his own interpretation. You see some lawyers, they will refer you back to what happened in 2003 and so on and so on.
On the basis where this issue or the result is being tightly contested in court, do you think it's wise as a country that seeks peace and democracy to actually go ahead with the inauguration on the 29th of this month?
It's not constitutional. It's not in our constitution that we must finish election litigations before swearing in. Don't forget.
But knowing the gravity of this petition and all that, knowing you could.
Ezekiel, I've said it here.
Anyways,
we don't use emotion to interpret laws. Even if it is assuming that my dad contested the election and did not win, I will not say because my dad contested the election and did not win that we should hold on to the swearing. If it is not constitutional, Nigeria is a law that is governed by law. Section 1 of the Constitution is very clear that Nigeria is a sovereignty nation and we're being governed by what we have in the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria. Now, let me give you 2 instances. It's only 1999 and 2015 that we did not witness any post-presidential election litigation in this country. After 1999 presidential election that was keenly contested between Baba Basanjo and Olufalaye, both of them came from the southwest, that particular region. And at the end of the day, nothing like post-election litigation. In 2003, we saw it between Obasanjo and Buhari. 2007, we saw, I'm talking about post-presidential election litigation. 2007, it was between late Yar'Adua and President Muhammadu Buhari. As a matter of fact, the day they were to give a verdict at Supreme Court, President Yar'Adua was about to leave the country to Saudi Arabia for an important bilateral meeting. But he delayed his presidential fleet that let him hear what the Supreme Court will say, whether they will allow him to stay or they will tell him to leave office. At the end of the day, the judgment went in his favor. 2011, we had post-election litigation in this country. Jonathan won that election. Was between Jonathan and CPC. In 2015, in fact, before the official announcement, Jonathan considered the VT. He put on the call, he called Buhari. So in 2015, nothing like post-presidential election litigation. In 2019, we saw it between Atiku and Muhammadu Buhari. Now, we are seeing it again. It's not in the law. In 2003, where I started from, Obasanjo has become the president when Supreme Court gave the verdict. In 2007, Yar'Adua already sworn in before Supreme Court gave the verdict. In 2011, Jonathan already sworn in before Supreme Court gave the verdict. In 2019, Buhari already sworn in before Supreme Court gave the verdict. I know 2023, the president coming will already become the president before Supreme Court gives. So,
Sam, you know, the angle persons actually looking at is the angle where a sitting president will be ousted. It's not always possible if you look at from that angle. You know, being inaugurated already and being the president, and you're having a case.
You have your cards already.
You know what I mean.
I've said it here that it's only that seat we're here to see a competent court of jurisdiction saying the president in power is no more the president. We've seen in governorship cases, in fact, numerous. We saw it in Nondo between Agagun and Mimiko. We saw it in Ekiti between Segun Oni and Fayemi. We saw it in Osun between Aregbesola and Oyinlola. We saw it in Edo between Oshiomhole and Osubo. We saw it in Anambra between Obi and Ngige. So it's not new. But that seat, I'm not trying to cover whoever is president, but that seat is so exalted that people will be looking at how will he hear it that he's sitting president now, that the court is saying that sitting president you've been there for some days now, but this is the verdict of the Supreme Court. You are now duly elected as the president. Please pack your belongings now. The one you've enjoyed in Aso Rock is enough. Let the next person come to become the president. I don't know, maybe our institution is matured enough to absorb that particular shock. We've seen this in various states, even did not fall. But you can't compare a state level with the federal level. And that's what people are saying. And to me, in fact, when Cardinal Onayekan, that revered Catholic bishop, when he made the statement, I put up a particular column on the particular blog that I agree with you. But if we still need to go back to our laws, that okay, after election, we have some days in such a way that tribunal will sit, at the end of that tribunal, Supreme Court will sit in such a way that before swearing in, let's have all cases done in court. Then let's see whether Ezekiel that announced by INEC truly court will give him verdict, or whether it's Michael that is challenging the victory of Ezekiel in court that court will give. But the situation whereby you have a sitting president in office enjoying the paraphernalia of that particular office, and the verdict will come from Supreme Court that is no more the president, that another person should come over and take. I don't know, Ezekiel, if our institution has matured to that particular state. We're talking about, what about US? Joe Biden was here when Donald Trump went to court now, was sworn in already when Donald Trump went to court. We saw what happened was in 2014, 2015, or 2011 when Uhuru Kenyatta became the president of Kenya. His result was stagnant. In fact, to a point, that election At the end of the day, the Kenya Supreme Court gave it that they should have a rerun, and the rerun was conducted. Uhuru Kenyatta won that election again. So it's not only limited to this country. But I'm not saying that because other countries are not doing it, that we should not come up with our own structure. So if that what we make fine or will be good for our system, let's have it amended in our law, Ezekiel, that okay, INEC adjust your timetable, because we know that May 29 in this country is sacrosanct. Nobody can change the date again. But when we go to our laws, let's amend that okay, after presidential or governorship or any election whatsoever, before May 29 or June, that the house will be proclaimed, whether at the national level or at the state level, let's set up our tribunal, our cases. Then let us have a timeline. We were in this country before, where a tribunal will last for 3 years. But now we don't say anything like that. 180 days, you are done. Give the verdict, let's go. So let's amend our laws. And the question is, if we are to amend our laws, don't forget the process of amending laws. National Assembly will do it. President, that is likely to affect, we are sent to it. With the president there, we are sent to it.
Okay, now you said something earlier in your statement that we are a country that we are governed by laws.
Yes.
We are supposed to follow the constitution because our constitution is our law.
Exactly.
The electoral constitution also states that when election, especially the just completed election, when it has been conducted, it will be gathered, uploaded.
Exactly.
I just want to take us back.
Yeah, all right.
Uploaded, and everything should be going fine, and we have seen everything, the result, before we can say, okay, this result is going to be this way. But it's so very funny, let me say funny, that at the end of the day, the result was announced. But after some weeks, we still experienced some uploading of results.
Exactly.
This also go against the law that was on ground. Does that mean that we are in a situation that there are some places that we can go against the law to just make things work in our way?
Michael, I will not agree that that will go against the law. It's possible for Ezekiel not to agree with me here, but I'm telling you that I will not agree, because you are quoting section 64 of the Electoral Act. That's what that place says. 64 and 65. It's talking about uploading of result. But there's nowhere in the law that the law says that you need to declare result based on what you have on the IRF. It's not stated
But
in the
you
law.
have to be certain
It's not
level of,
stated in the law.
But you agree with me that if I'm a good mathematician,
Exactly.
if I said you have 6.5 million, I can do my mathematics to be very clinical so that it's going to match up with whatever I have uploaded before. Even though I don't go well. This is where the question comes from every individual that feels like this result doesn't go well. Because now if I say, okay, the ruling party has 8-point-something million.
Yes.
And I want to upload my result. Maybe I've uploaded to 6-point-something million. I will have to do a lot of mathematical calculation and be like, okay, I need to make sure that whatever I'm going to upload is going to tally with what I have already as a result. So these are the things that people really want to question, because this is against the law. And if you feel like it is not, there's no place in the law that says there's no place, you don't have to upload it or say it. What are they really doing in the law?
Michael, the just concluded Osun verdict has laid everything to rest to tell us that Beavers is working. Then you don't rely on what you have on IREV, but you rely on what you have on Beavers.
Yeah, what are we doing with them if the IREV is what is part of the electionary process? What are we doing with them if we can't rely on them?
What you have on IREV is what uploaded from Beavers. You can't have anything on IREV without uploading from Beavers. Now, let's use Osun scenario as a kind of case study here. You know, after the Osun governorship election last year, APC, after 24 hours, APC went to INEC IREV to upload result. And at the end of the day, they got to understand that this issue of overvoting occurred because they did not take their time to allow the Beavers to upload all results on IREV. But by the time PDP back to IREV, discovered that all results have been uploaded on IREV. Now, what did the Supreme Court judgment says? No, they are yet to release the result, the full result. But the one we're able to get online, the judge that hand over that case at the Supreme Court is talking about that you don't rely on IREV, that you rely on Beavers. See, I've worked with INEC. What we are doing is that after the result, after manually filling the result, you know, under INEC form EC48A, that's why you have the result being recorded and so on. You record number of total vote cast, number of ballot paper used, number of accredited voters. Then you see a column that talks about each political party and the figure recorded. After that, you snap, you upload on IREV. So as a matter of fact, if you are looking for a quoted point to defend your case in court, you don't need to go to IREV. Get the report, and you will say that in any election, it is mandatory for all political parties to have a party agent in each in each unit. And because that, the reason is that at the end of the day, each agent must be given the duplicate copy of that particular result. So if anybody is saying that we need to rely on IREV because we announce election result, that one is foul and is not what the law is saying. And like I said, section 65 of the Electoral Act 2022 as amended is very clear and unambiguous. What the law is talking about here is that when you stamp the result, you put it on IREV. But BVAS is here. Do you know that BVAS machines were taken to Oshu Tribunal for verification? So that's what the law says. So if anybody is talking about the 2023 presidential election, that they won the election, now we are still looking at two political parties now that they are vying for a first position. Labour is claiming that he won the election. PDP is claiming that he won the election as well. So to me, this thing is very simple because what INEC uploaded on IREV, the result already given to your polling agent to do your calculation whether truly you win the election or you did not win the election. So that is what we are talking about here. So to me, if anybody is relying on what we have on IREV, that person is not doing the same well. And like I said, the Supreme Court judgment in Oshu has already opened our eye. In fact, after the judgment, I put something on social media that yes, we've gotten a clue where we are going in this presidential petition election tribunal in court. So to me now, nobody should rely on what IREV is talking about. In as much you have a polling agent and they've been given each result from each polling unit, compile your result, do your analysis, send it, and bring it to court. That's what happened in the case of Imo. Someone was asking me that what happened in Imo. I said, what happened in Imo? It doesn't clear to a majority of people. Why Upsodima, who came forth in the election, ended up becoming the governor for the state? Is very clear and simple. What happened? After the election, Upsodima approached the court that about 300 polling unit result, that they did not add this to his own result. And honest, because that, do you have a fact? He said he has a fact. And he went back and he brought the result of the 300 polling unit that the INEC did not add to his result. And when he brought the result to court, they saw the stamp of INEC. And after adding up all the 300 polling units to his result, he came first in that election. So nobody should be talking about what happened in the most. That's exactly what happened that made Opus Odima, who was announced fourth on that election, becoming the fourth. So to me, it is very clear. The BVAS we use for 2023 presidential election is still available. Even though during the process of reconfiguring the system, INEC told us that they have what we call a backup server and the system. That every system, every information, every data used during the presidential election already backed up. So to me, that's what I'll be expecting from the council of the PDP, Labour Party, and even the APC. Because if APC is a defense a party now in this election, because it's the one who's being alleged that the election that brought the party to power was rigged. So they are the one now to come and defend themselves. But like what I'm saying now, there's no law, Michael, that says that we need to rely on the result on IREV before INEC will announce a result.
Okay. I will take your word for it, and I just want to believe that's what it's going to be. But now we're out of time, and just in 30 seconds, I want you to give us just a verdict of yours, what you think is going to happen come May 29th.
So you say prophecy as usual.
Of course, that's
your prophecy.
I don't want to use prophecy, but now let's use prophecy.
Like I said, the concern is clear. What will happen that will not make the president-elect and the vice president-elect to be sworn on May 29. If that did not happen, I see Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Senator Kashim Shettima be sworn in on May 29 as the 7th president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria since 1999 after the return to democracy, then as the 16th elected president since we got our independence in 1960. But the case is still in court. Let's leave it to appeal court and Supreme Court to decide whether truly Bola Tinubu won that election with 8 million votes or not. That, at the end of the day, we know where to go.
Thank you very much for coming on the program.
Thank you, Michael and Ezekiel, for having me.
I still look forward to still have you some other time, because in me, as if feel like we don't have a conclusion yet. Viewers, you've heard it from Sam, and I'm very sure you really enjoyed the analysis and everything that he brought your way, and we still bring him some other time, because I know you guys still want to enjoy him on what he does best. From us here, we'll be handing over to our Lagos studio, which we believe that will give you more juicy package. From him, I am Michael OBAGIRI.
I remain Ezekiel. OGAR, have a wonderful day.